Hi Year 8s, this lesson we're looking at an example of elements, mixtures and compounds. So I've got some iron represented by the black molymods. Okay, so that's my element of iron, and I've got some red molymods to represent the sulfur. Okay, so iron is a metal, so there's fine iron filings there, and sulfur is a non-metal and it's this yellow powder. So if I took some sulfur and I mixed it with the iron to give us a mixture of iron and sulfur, okay, would it be possible to separate the iron from the sulfur? And if so, what method could we use? Okay, so the simplest thing to do would be to use a magnet. So I can take a bar magnet and I can wave that over the iron and sulfur mixture, and the bar magnet will attract the iron and separate it from the sulfur. So because iron and sulfur have just been mixed together, it's quite easy to separate out, okay, the iron from the sulfur. Right, so if we look at the molymods, all we've really done is got the iron and the sulfur to mix together, and they're not chemically jointed anyway, which means it's quite simple to separate them, okay? So what could we do to make the iron and sulfur chemically join together? So to get a chemical reaction to happen between iron and sulfur, what would I need to do? Right, so that's my second experiment. So here I've got iron and sulfur in a boiling tube and I'm heating it strongly. So by heating the iron and sulfur, I'm causing a chemical reaction to happen, and that's going to make iron sulfide, and that's my compound, okay? So there's some sulfur, just a little bit of sulfur left around the boiling tube, okay, and it's starting to heat up and it should start to make some iron sulfide. And I've got some that I produced earlier. So here's some iron sulfide at the bottom of this boiling tube, and if I get some of this out, okay, we can see that we've now got iron sulfide. Okay, so that's iron sulfide. It looks nothing like the iron and sulfur mixture. Okay, and if we tried to separate the iron from the sulfur, that's not really going to happen. So even if we use a bar magnet, because they're chemically joined together now and we've now got a compound of iron sulfide, it's not possible to separate the iron from the sulfur. Okay, so we've gone from an element of iron and sulfur to a mixture of iron and sulfur, and now a compound of iron sulfide.